Welcome, everybody, to this week's Oregon Minute. It's a little rainy out there, so all the more excuse to tune in. Today, we have with us Precious Woodley, the Oregon Youth Center Director, to give us some updates about Youth Center programming and just generally how she's settled in this last year. She's been with us since last summer, and things obviously look a lot different now than they did then because we were in the middle of a pandemic back then. So, how are you, Precious, and how do you continue to settle into your role now that you've navigated the health crisis and now that programming is coming back?
Thank you so much for having me, Emily. I would definitely say it's been a transition, but it's been a beautiful one. Oregon Youth Center has definitely been a roller coaster ride. We've had our lows in regards to attendance, but we've also had our highs, which are definitely, as things are becoming more in person, the mandates being released. We are definitely having an increase in attendance. In regards to what my transition looked like, the first year here at Oregon Youth Center, it was me learning the law of the land, learning what it looked like to be a person here in Oregon, learning what it would mean to embody the aspect of a village versus a city and a town. So that family, that community aspect is definitely what I've grown to know and how I've been accepted and welcomed here in Oregon. I have definitely connected with multiple leaders across Oregon, specifically the superintendent as well as chief of police. We definitely have continued to work together on some programming to ensure that we're able to bridge the gap to be able to support our youth effectively within our community. What that has looked like earlier last summer, going into the school year, we wanted to make sure that the students were supported effectively. So the superintendent and I created a community support group. And what that looked like was the Oregon Youth Center, different churches across town, as well as different members of the school district. We came together. It started off weekly, it went to bi-weekly, and then it went to monthly. But we talked about how we could either be a hub or provide childcare and ensuring that we stayed under the CDC mandates at the time. And so just a community coming together to support the community. And that is exactly what I have gained from my experience within this last year. Specifically, myself and the chief of police, we are continuing to work on different programs. As you all have seen, the Fun in the Sun picnic and pool party with the police. That was a phenomenal event. The police grilled for us. They supported in providing and supporting different food items as well. The interaction with the youth are always a positive. The youth enjoy it, and OYC being youth led, what the youth enjoy is what we will provide. And so we're just continuing to bridge those gaps and have those positive interactions, understanding and acknowledging that we understand trauma has happened previously, but we want to be able to be a listening ear from the community and see how we can continue to create those positive interactions between Oregon Youth Center and the Oregon Police Department. Additionally, just continuing to create programs in regards to the needs around the community. And so either monthly or bi-monthly, Oregon Youth Center, I have implemented a different program to be able to support whatever the need is at the time. And so we can go back into the fall, and we were, making sure we had food drives to be able to support at the time. We saved Halloween, we saved the holiday season by doing the holiday giveaway, by minimizing food insecurities within our communities, but also handing out book bags and school supplies and gift cards, but just always figuring out what the need is within the community and meeting that need. Going into 2021, and as the mandates were minimizing more and more, I wanted to do more in-person interaction. During that time frame, I would say those 2 quarters, the fourth quarter of 2020 as well as the first quarter of 2021, was when we had the lowest amount of attendance. But that was also when we had a peak in COVID rates within Dane County as well. And so we were at the time trying to figure out if OIC could get their bus stop back. that we usually have. So prior to the pandemic, the buses, there was a bus stop right outside of OIC. And so that's where a lot of our students, 30 to 40 students a day would come from. But because that wasn't an option and the school district had to support those COVID precautions to, again, keeping safety first and thinking of the students in mind, that wasn't something that was able to happen this past year. But that is something that I am continuously working on with the transportation director, who has been very open to ensuring that the youth center has that, to ensure not only that that the youth center is supported and our attendance increases, but also that the youth have a safe place to go after school. And so we want to just I'm just continuing to bridge those gaps with different people within the community, continuing to collaborate and connect with people, as I believe that that is going to help us to make the greatest impact within our community for our youth, on our behalf of our youth. And so I would say, if I had to sum it up in regards to the main three things that I've been working on this past year, is definitely securing funding for OIC to be here for years to come. So that is whether it's grant writing, fundraisers, we have different drives happening, but any way that we are able to support youth via funding to ensure that they are, have a safe place to be, that is what I've been working on. Also building partnerships for us to be able to make that greater impact, and to extend our reach within the community. And lastly, it would definitely be youth engagement and recruitment and outreach. I am definitely very on the forefront of making sure that I am out on my feet, whether it's canvassing, whether it's recruiting on social media marketing, whatever that may look like, and trying new ways to outreach and to be able to support the youth in our community. I'm continuing to brainstorm and find new ideas every day. And now I would say we are currently at the level of, as the youth are here, just asking the youth, what exactly do you all need? What exactly are the ways that you all are connected? So they're doing a lot of Snapchatting and TikToking. And so the youth are definitely, as they're playing pool, as they're playing video games and so forth, they're on Snapchat, they're making TikToks. And so they are also supporting those recruitment and outreach measurements that we are continuing to brainstorm, to continue to make sure that the youth know that we're open, the community know that we're open. And I think that that's a great segue into what's actually happening here this summer. So I'll take a break and see if Emily has some more questions. But yes, we're open, we're here, and we're ready for the fun.
Sure. I was gonna say that I know the health crisis has been, I mean, I know if you're any, I definitely consider myself like, and I'm sure you relate to this, like a go-getter, right? You know, somebody that really enjoys connecting with other people. And that's part of what your position entails, is making those connections, you know, like you mentioned, for grant writing, for establishing, you know, relationships with people like the police chief, and, you know, event planning and all of that. I just wanted to commend you for having that drive to do that, you know, during a really just devastating health crisis, and I mean everything else that has happened. And like, you encounter, I think, a couple of different types of people when these types of things happen, right? You know, you encounter the people who feel that much more driven to, you know, want to make a difference, and then you encounter those who fall prey to maybe pessimism and, oh my gosh, like all these bad things are happening, when is this going to get better? And I'll say that I've been, you know, both on both sides of that spectrum. But you just seem so, like, all of the things that you're doing to keep the youth center thriving, I think, is just absolutely amazing. So I just wanted to commend you for all of your work there, and just the things that you're doing to help, you know, Oregon's youth, make sure their voices are heard. I think that's just so cool. Even with things seemingly getting back to normal, I know that's not the case for other, you know, other places around the world. But I am curious though, you know, what are some examples of like upcoming programming, you know, say like later in the summer into the fall? What can families and kids in the area look forward to in terms of that stuff?
Excuse me. Definitely. Thank you so much. I definitely appreciate what I do. It's a passion in my heart. And everything that I do is always helping and supporting others. And in my role specifically here, it's supporting the youth, but also families holistically. And so, what's happening this summer at OIC? We do what we consider, it's called Summertime at OIC. And so, over the course of the year, our program hours have fluctuated from earlier during the day to later in the evening. And as we progress throughout the year, we always we're making steps to get back to the normal hours of what OIC were before the pandemic happened, which was 3 to 6. That was the closest time frame that we got to during the school year, which was 2:30 to 5:30, as the students were getting out just a little bit earlier, as they were in virtual school. And moving into the summer, program hours used to be 12 to 5. However, when program hours were 12 to 5 in previous summer, there were 2 employees. And I am currently the only employee at OIC, but I am supported by AmeriCorps members. So to be able to support staffing or support quality programming with the staffing that we have, this summer we are 12 to 4. And it started as soon as June 14th and it goes all the way to August 20th. And what that looks like is OIC is a drop-in program for 5th through 9th graders. And what that means is rising 5th graders. So if your student is currently going to 5th grade next year, they are welcome here at OIC, all the way until students that are finishing 9th grade as of this current year. So if your student finished 9th grade as of 2021, then they have technically aged out of the program. However, we do welcome back those who have aged out of the program to come and volunteer with us. So the students always are looking for different role models and leadership opportunities, and so we want to be able to support that. So we not only have youth volunteering, but we also have some adult volunteering opportunities as well that we will share via email. But what summer program looks like day to day, our program is a drop-in program. So we have different activities here at OIC, from video gaming. We have video gaming all the way back to the 90s to today's video gaming. So we got Atari, we got a Nintendo 64, we got the Xbox One, 360, and all those other fun numbers. But we have a Nintendo Wii. We also have a pool table. We have foosball table. We have air hockey. We have many different arts and crafts. We have some knitting items. We have some sewing items. And all of these items are available whenever OIC is open. So if there's a particular idea that you are looking forward to at OIC, you let an adult know and we'll be able to support you at that given time. We also have every Monday as of June 28th, we will be going swimming from 2:30 to 3:30 each Monday. And so we'll continue more walking field trips, whether it's nature walks and different things within the community. But we're planning some surprise in regards to an end of the year field trip and what that will look like. But we definitely want to gather some more information and confirmations before we do any false promises. But we're definitely continuing to plan for the fall. But as of right now, the summer programming is happening. It's all in person. There is some virtual planning that is happening. However, those virtual plans happen during programming as well. And so, join us for the fun. If you have a 5th through 9th grader, please send them over. We have lunch every day from 12:30 to 1:30. However, if we have a student that is hungry after that and they need a little more support in the kitchen, we are here to support them. So that's where our volunteers fall in place. And they are able to help and support those microwavable meals that we have for our youth. And so lunch can be arranged from easy mac and cheese, ramen noodles, all the way to barbecued items. So definitely we're open to the donations of the community so we can continue to have those different snack and lunch items as well within OIC.
Again, I just absolutely want to emphasize, I can feel your passion, like even like through the screen as you're talking about programming. And my focus of that question was just like upcoming events, but you got into the meals that you have available, the amenities that the youth center has available. And and that's just so amazing. Again, Precious, I'm sure that the Oregon community more than appreciates the work that you're doing. And just, you seem like you've been such a godsend to the community. So just wanted to say that. But, is there, I think we've covered all the bases, honestly, but are there any other updates that you would like to share with our viewers regarding, programming or just any other general things about the youth center?
For sure, I would definitely say if you're always looking for a way to give back to the youth center is definitely open to it. We have a pledge program currently happening. It's called In Your Corner. And we want to make sure that people know that we are here. It's in our corner, and what that looks like is it's either a 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year pledge to OIC, and whatever that number looks like for you and what is feasible for you and your family, we are open to that. We are definitely continuing to fundraise for our hood, our fire suppressant hood, so that we are able to be able to cook on our stove to provide even more quality meals for our youth. And so that's something we're currently fundraising for. And then there's always ways to support as well that are not monetary. So again, those volunteer efforts. If you're looking for a place to volunteer, whether it's weekly, every Thursday, every Tuesday, whatever that day looks like, if you have availability between 12 and 4, we would love to have you. And so we have a volunteer application electronically as well as can be picked up here at the youth center. So again, if you are looking for a way to support the youth, contact me at director@OregonYouthCenter.org, and I'm sure we can find a way for you to be able to support.
All right, some awesome plugs there, and I encourage all of our viewers to definitely take advantage of those things. Precious, I think this is a really good place to conclude today. Just thank you again for taking the time out of your really busy schedule to be a part of the show today. But yeah, as for all of our viewers out there, thank you so much for tuning in, and we have again some great things coming up for you this summer, so please tune in every Thursday at 7 p.m.
Thank you so much for having us.